am slightly scared of this bed right now because I sat on the end of it and it literally almost collapsed under my weight. I'm worried I'm going to be in the middle of filming this and it's just going to completely collapse and I'm going to fall into a dark abyss of nothing. So today's video is going to not be a more like, it's not going to be kind of like a funny you know, entertaining video. Not that any of my videos are entertaining, I don't know why anybody watches them, but like, it's not gonna be one of my usual videos. I think that once in a while I'm going to just sit down and I'm going to talk about kind of a more serious topic than what this bed keeps squeaking. Shut up! Just kind of a more serious topic. Now, today's topic, it isn't gonna be that serious, but it is something that has been on my mind a lot lately. It's been on my mind since I was literally 3 years old. Today's topic is my fucked up brain. Let me explain. So, since I was 3 years old, I have had this thing. Don't know what it is. It's not a disorder. It's really close to one though. Basically, I only found out that it actually had a name about a year ago. The name is Maladaptive Daydreaming. For like 12 years of my life, I did not know what this was. Basically, it almost drove me insane because I didn't know what it was. Here, I'm gonna look up exactly what it is because the definition is complicated and I want to make sure you can understand it completely. So like, I honestly don't even know if what I have is maladaptive daydreaming, but it is the closest thing that I've been able to find. So basically, maladaptive daydreaming is also known as excessive daydreaming, is a concept to describe an extensive fantasy activity that replaces human interaction and or interferes with academic, interpersonal, or vocal functioning, blah, 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 blah. Basically, it means that I create realities. This is what it means for me. Like I said, I don't even know if this is what I have, but it's the closest thing. So what I have is that I create these realities, these fantasies in my head. I go to them when this reality sucks, which it does a lot. I talked about this in my very first video ever. I mentioned that I had this, but I didn't really go much into it. Yes, I create fantasies in my head. It's really complicated, so I'm gonna try to break it down. For me, since I was 3 years old, I have pulled characters or pulled events from real life or from movies or books or TV shows or whatever, and I have, for a lot of them, I've smushed them, smushed is such a weird word, but I've like combined them all into these weird fantasies. I have a lot, by the way. Let me just say I have a lot. I'm gonna call them separate realities. That's what I feel like they are to me. They're separate realities. I came into this video like completely, I didn't really know what I was gonna talk about, so I need to figure out how I want to break this down. I don't know how many separate realities I have created in my head since I was 3 years old. Granted, it was 3 years old. Like, I probably don't even remember some of them, but I do remember most of them, and there was a lot. Some of them lasted longer than others. Some of them did not last long at all. Some of them I forgot, which is probably the ones that didn't last that long. But I do remember some of the main ones, and I'm honestly not going to describe what some of my separate realities are because they're very personal to me, and a lot of them I do not feel comfortable. Actually, pretty much all of them. I have never shared all of my realities to anyone on this earth. Or I've shared it to an alien, but that doesn't count. JK. I've shared some of my realities with some people, but there's not a single person that knows all of them. Only my imaginary friend and me. So that's 2 people. Anyway, but I have kind of tried to be more comfortable, and I have told a few more of what goes on in my head because it honestly gets tiring to have so many realities just in my head 24/7. Think about that. Like, sometimes I feel like the doctor, even though the doctor I know has much more like stuff going on in his head than I do. It sometimes feels like that. So let's see. I have about, I don't remember all of them, but over 12 years I have had probably over 20 different separate realities. And what happens to me is that as I grow up, I will leave some of them behind and I don't daydream about them anymore. Like, I don't go to these realities anymore because I've grown up and I just, you know, don't really need them anymore. Which this is what really fucks me up, is that it is so hard for me to leave behind these realities. It's so hard for me to grow up and leave them behind because they are such a huge part of me. Like, my imagination is my freedom, and it is what I have held tightly and clung to for the past 12 years of my life. These are like my home. These are like my homes, and these realities sometimes feel like family and they feel like home. a lot more than my real home does sometimes. They feel a lot more welcoming than this reality does because, let's be honest, this reality is also fucked up. Let me just say that my past realities have always somehow revolved around me. I have always been in every single one of my realities, pretty much. And as some sort of character, most of the time I go by the name Clara in my realities. Even when I wanted to go by Eddie, even when I still went by Claire. In my realities, I always went by Clara. At some point, I will tell you, I will probably go on and on about these realities because I really want to tell people, but I don't have the confidence yet. Yeah, but I have so many, so like, I don't even know if people would want to even hear about them because a lot of them are really complicated and strange. There are so many strange ones, might I add. I have the weirdest fucked up imagination ever. So there are a lot of strange things that happen in my head. That sounded wrong. Another thing about my realities is that once I decide something and once I, place it in a certain order, once I imagine it and I create it, I cannot change it. No matter how hard I try, I cannot change something that I have already created. Like, so if I imagine certain events in a certain order and I turn that all into one reality, I cannot change that. I cannot change the order of something. I can usually add stuff, but I cannot take away anything that I have already thought of. But a lot of times people do not understand that. I had, like, a long time ago, I told some people about my realities, and especially if they were included in them, because like I said, like, I take my friends, I take people that I know and I put them into my realities. And so some people that were in my realities wanted me to make them a certain way, or like kind of like make something happen to them. So like they wanted me to like imagine something happening to them, or like imagine them doing something, And I would try so hard, but I could not change something that already happened. I could not change if they were something in my head, I could not change that. There was no possible way I couldn't. They would sometimes not understand that and they would get mad at me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, but I cannot help it. This is my head, this is my mind, my imagination, my realities. I cannot change. No matter how hard I try, no matter how hard I want to, I can't change it. Yeah, this video is kind of like an introduction. I'm going to go a lot deeper into what my mind is, and I probably will tell you about my realities and, step by step and plot by plot and, series, everything like that. I will probably tell you eventually. It will take a long time. I have a lot of them. But if you want to hear them, let me know. Something that has been on my mind recently is that, so like I said, maladaptive daydreaming. I don't even know if that is what I have. It is the closest thing that I have found. Like I said, I only found it a year ago. Like, I went like 12 years, 11 years of my life without knowing what I had. It was terrifying, not knowing who you are and not knowing what you have. And it's not like I even cared about labels, like, like for sexuality and gender, like through all that shit. But like, this is something different that I didn't even know anyone else even had. Like, I know some people had maladaptive daydreaming, but I didn't know if it was to the scale that I had. And it's annoying because this maladaptive daydreaming, or I mostly just call it daydreaming, it distracts me from like doing activities in the day and like basically carrying out my life, because I will get distracted. First of all, in class, in like school, I will get distracted. I will daydream and I won't even know. I will go into these realities I won't even know, and I will miss important stuff. And I haven't fallen behind on my schoolwork or anything. I'm a good student. Hi mom and dad, yes, I'm still a good student. It still happens, and I still go to these realities at the worst possible times, and I will miss important information. How I go to these realities is that in my basement, in my house, I have a swing that I swing on, and most of the time I listen to music, and that's how I go to these realities. I can go to them whenever I wish, but it's easier when I am swinging on the swing, or like moving in a car, walking. It's easier when I'm moving to travel to these realities. Also, it's really annoying that sometimes these realities, they alter my perception of what is real and what is not. And that might not make sense, but like sometimes I don't know what is real and what it's not. Like most of the time I do know that like these realities are my imagination, but like sometimes it's really hard to tell and it fucks me up a lot. Sometimes I will put off doing my homework, or I will choose not to go do something, or choose not to like hang out with people or anything because I want to daydream and because I want to go to these realities. And I can't help it. I can't help it. But I don't know how else to put it, but like I procrastinate using my realities and going to my realities using my imagination. You know, you probably don't know, but I'm going to assume that you know. I do wish that there was some way that I could at least limit the amount of daydreaming that I do so that I could at least, you know, live my life. But then the other part of me doesn't want anything to change because, like I said, these realities is my freedom and is the place that I go to when life sucks and then when I need to get away. And I'm going to finish this video by saying that I am terrified because I am worried that one day I'm going to leave all these realities behind. Like maybe one day I won't even have them anymore. Maybe they'll all be left into my childhood. I'm also terrified that something will happen to me and that I will lose them. Like I don't know, like I'll have brain damage or something like that. Like something will happen to me and I will lose them. That's one thing that has encouraged me to, you know, tell people about them. And I'm even considering like writing them down just so that I have them. Hopefully will tell people about my different realities because like I said, I want to get them somewhere that's not my head in case something happens to me, because no, in my life something probably will. That's pretty much all I wanted to say for this video. I'm sorry that it was like there was no certain order or anything. I had no plan. I just knew what I wanted to talk about and I sat down and I talked about it. And it was probably really long too. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But I promise that my next video, it will be more fun. Thank you for watching. Hopefully someone out there can relate to me. Hopefully one day I will find someone who has these realities and different fantasies like I do. Yeah, please subscribe and click the thumbs up button. And also follow me on my social media because lately I've been getting into photography, so I will probably post a lot of photos on my Instagram. Links are down below. I really don't like doing outros. I don't know how to say bye. Is that sad?